Yo, what up? Back with another stream today. Gonna keep this one probably a pretty short one. Just wanted to hop back on here since I'm doing some coding anyways. Just go ahead and go live. Still working on that same SaaS project management app that I have been the last few streams. Did a bunch of work offline yesterday. Definitely knocking off a lot of things on my once long to-do list, but almost zeroing it out before I can finally get to the last major feature that I'm going to be doing is notifications, which I've been talking about for the last couple of days. But that last 5% of getting an app ready to go is always honestly the longest and the hardest, but definitely knocking things off the list and kind of getting there closer and closer as we go. So hopefully by tomorrow, I'll have the bare bones of my notifications set up, and then go ahead and clean that up over the next probably couple days, and then I can finally get this up live on my server for some further testing and tweaks and whatnot before I finally get it ready for public facing appearances and opening up to the public. But like I said, just be a pretty short stream. I'm definitely not doing like 6 hours like I have been, but let's get in there and see what I have left to do. So I did a little bit of styling. There was some layout shifting going on from some earlier tests that I need to clean up and have some indications for when you were hovering over a specific card and whatnot. So let's go check that out. So basically, I kind of cleaned up some of my cards. This hover right here effect, as you can see, the border top gets smaller. I liked that animation, but the problem is it caused a lot of layout shifts, especially when it's on page with other elements, and there wasn't really a clean way to kind of fix that. You can do some pseudo elements and animations, you can do some drop shadows, but it was never able to truly get it this same thing I wanted here. One kind of attempt I did was basically to add padding and margins to the bottom. That didn't really work well, so I just needed to kind of figure out something else to still animate. I like how this animates right here for my workspaces. Basically a selection indication. I'm fine with that, but all these other cards I need to animate. So as you can see, this still has that shrinking animation. So basically what I did is kind of the opposite. I animated a pseudo element here to basically drop down, which is making it seem like the border is growing, but it's actually not. It's just a pseudo element that doesn't impact layout shifting with a little subtle darkening of the background. And you can see that here. I get no layout shifts like that. And although it's subtle, it's a subtle indication of what you're actually hovering over. I do like that. I did want to keep it pretty subtle. I don't like when there's huge kind of animations in terms of selections and hovering or whatnot. It can be very distracting and can cause, like I said, layout shifts. So I'm basically going to try to do this for all of my major cards here. So I'm gonna go in here and clean that up. My projects page is fine. My overview is fine. If I go to clients and I go look at their projects, it's still that same kind of match. So I'm gonna basically apply that to all my cards. So let's do that right now. So my projects don't have that right now. So let's go check that. All right, so let's do this. Let's do this, and then basically just gonna reuse what I've already done here with the styling. As you can see, I did a bunch of pseudo elements right here, which a bunch of transitions, animations, which got this. I actually found this on Google, basically just searching for cool hover animations, and this was one of them that I found, and just basically reapplied it with some tweaks to what I needed it for. So some before elements and absolute positioned and transforms, which gives it that kind of growing animation that I'm looking for. Basically just gonna copy this. Well, let's copy this background too. Come in here. Let's see where my projects are. Invitations. Well, invitations, let's do this. Let's go. Same. Let's go hover. BG accent. and then hover. No. Matter of fact, let's not do that. Let's come back and check that. Go to my page, projects. All right, so here's my card. Get a map over each one with the link, class name right here. And go shadow medium. Yeah, so let's just paste this here. Did that look? Let's remove this hover. Cool. Let's refresh. Huh. Why did that work? So padding wide, transition color, shadow small, hover, shadow main, hover. Interesting. I don't know why that's not because if I do hover, bet that'll work. Yeah. So why is it not? Let me figure out. Might have to do with the link. Interesting, because this works. Why doesn't this work? Taking effect because it's incomplete and like missing. Without content. Okay. Guess I'm missing my content. So yeah. It's not working. Top places trip directly. I think I'm missing something before top 0. Before top 0. Okay. Let's see. Maybe. That ain't working. All right, let's try this. Let's come. All right. Kind of working, but not. Let's figure this out. Let's go. Sorry, that's it. I don't know. It was for height, for inset, pointer events, absolute. I don't know what I was missing. Something went wrong, but if I come here, refresh. All right, that's what I'm looking for. Now I need basically to reuse this, so I need to make a copy of this. Let me tell it to place this in its own component. This into its own component and reuse it here and in the projects route. So it's going to create this into its own component, so I don't need to keep jumping back here and changing. It just helps keep things consistent, basically. Because right now, this is basically redefining all of this design right here, which should just be using what is already here. So I need to come here. Basically do the same thing for this. Let's see. All right, so I created a dashboard project card, which what I want. Then if I come to the projects, it should reuse that same thing here. Created this, made this component, replace it here. So that should be applying. Let's go look. Come here. Cool. Like the subtle, very subtle animation, but enough to like let you know this is what is being about to be selected. That's what I want. Now let's come back here and let's take this whole thing. Come to my index. I need it for my task now, so task should be okay. So I think I've already got one for that. So yeah, come here, transition. All should be shadow. Hover, shadow small, shadow transition, shadow. Take this and let's go red. That should work. Refresh. No, let's remove that hover. Border top. Refresh again. Not quite. Let's figure that out. All right, so transition shadow, hover, cursor. Should be working. I don't know why it's not. Let's just tell them the same thing. Can you fix my Oh, that's why. So I keep forgetting this. It's gotta be group, relative, and isolate to and overflow hidden. All right, let's go check that again. Cool. Animates properly. Uh-huh. And projects. Next thing I want to do is figure out my workspaces. That should be the same. Let's go. Projects has its own card now. Leave dashboard. Cool. Workspaces should have its own card too. Let's refactor this. All right, refactor this into its own component and reuse it here and in the work this route. I should clean that up. Basically, just put this into its own component and then replace it on the actual workspaces route, and then on invitations, same thing I'm about to do. Let's come here. All right, there's a card. Here's the card. Replace it here. And it should replace it in my workspaces route as well. Let's go here. Cool. I'm gonna go double check. It is still there. Same. Still works. Cool. Functions properly. All right, so that's cleaned up, and then I need to test my invitation. So let me create some invitations. So let's go client. Create that. Let's send this invitation to members. Test. All right, let's see. Got the invitation. That looks good. Same. All right, cool. Now I'm gonna leave that styled like that, but then I am going to refactor this as well. So instead of manually doing all this and copying and pasting and doing all that, I like to just let it go ahead and do its thing. It does a pretty good job of refactoring. Let's go. Optimizations here. And the same thing. Let's go refactor this into its one component and reuse it here and in the patient's route. All right, so I'll go ahead and refactor basically this card and this into one, so I don't need to make changes in multiple places. I can just change one file and it gets applied everywhere. The next thing, this is clean. This is my task here. Task, okay, those are already working. Now let's come here. Task animation done because they all use the same, pretty much one. Go to projects. Those are good. Overview, good. All right, so now let's come to a project with task. no active task, but let's come here, pending. My task. This one is product mockup. So I'm gonna add that animation here as well. And then if I come back to task, I'll leave this, but just add the animation here. Cool. So come here. All right, let's make sure it got refactored. Nope. So it's gonna have to run this type checks and clean that up, but you'll take care of that. And then same, clean that type check. But here's the component with the actual card. Now it should have fixed it. Let's see. All right, got rid of that check. Check my invitations. Clean. All right, so if I come back and then I come here, dashboard, go refresh. Cool, works. Still functions. Now let's make sure this works. Deny. Cool. And then if I accept, let's make sure it still works as it should. Send another invite. Come back here. View. All right, accept. Cool, works. Leave this workspace. Clean. All right, so that's all cleaned up. I do need to let's come here. Let's go accept these changes. Let's come to my header. This should be actually organization switcher. Project view switcher. No. That's not that. Where is it? It's somewhere. All right, so it's here. I'm probably gonna refactor this as well, but change that to workspace and then add some minimum. Max width 60. Let's just go with 60. Maybe 50. All right, 45 looks good. Let's do that. Let's come. Primary. I don't know why. Let's go the same. 46, 45. Let's try 46. Refresh. Keep it 46. Cool. No matter what. I don't want to clean that up a little bit, but I don't know. Standard right now. I don't love that. Let's go. Might leave it. Let's see. Yeah, I'll leave that alone. All right, so that task is done. That task is done. Come to my project's gonna resign. Nope, it's not there. It's product mockup. Cool. Let's clean that up. Here. Projects should be client sidebar. Keeps jumping. All right, cool. Free task. Where am I? Right here. Order top. All right, so let's bring over what I did here. Just copy this whole thing. Relative isolate hidden. All right, I think that works. So let's see. Let's come refresh. Cool. It's the animation I want. It's the same thing for notes now. So go back. Projects work, tasks work, notes don't, and same. So clients, see project works, cool. Let's go to notes. Close this, and let's come. Think I have a notes component already set up. Should, so let's go. All right, cool. Organization note card. So here, then do the same thing, but amber. Come here. Copy, let's delete. Should be, no, actually. Just take this. Order 12. Heading 3. Order 12. Just take this. Cover. No, so I gotta do this a little differently. Let's place this. Let's remove. Remove colors. Be accent. So let's just remove that actually. It's amber. That should have cleaned it up. All right, come here. Here. This is it. My projects though. Come here. Let's create a bunch of notes. Let's go. Let's create a couple more. Let's just give you some assignments. Let's create some more. Think my max is 4,000, so let's try that. Copy. Come in here. Then another one. Come in here. Let's redesign. Let's come here. Let's try 2,000. Create that. Let's Generate some more. Same. All right. Cool. Now I come back here. All right, here's all my notes. Cool. I feel like I'm missing. Oh. You know why? Because it's a pending project, so it will not till I start, I believe. So let's check that. Come here. Pending. So start. Now when I sign out, should see all those new notes. Right. So now I got them. Let's remove that scope though. My loader is here. Pretty sure it's something like active. Yeah. Where? Let's remove that guard. Actually, structure means what up? Do project notes support minimal markup like list, etc.? It also could get super messy since people always use them as makeshift to-do list or need headings, especially with a 4K limit. Currently, no. That is on my to-do list as of right now, but currently, no. Basically, if I come in here, it's here's the 4,000. It basically gets put like this. So currently, not yet, but it's definitely something on my to-do list in terms of just quality of life stuff that I'll probably put in a little bit later. But just trying to get this up. It's definitely on my to-do list. All right, so but notes is here. Cool. Remove that guard. So if I create a project, right? This is just a test. Just give me some copy and go. Let's say client 2. Now, if I come in here and create a note, it should still appear. Actually, matter of fact, this should appear now. No, it's not. All right. Should appear now. Why is it not here? Interesting. Which ORM I'm using? I'm using Drizzle. I've pretty much used Drizzle for like all of my apps now. I used Prisma first. That was the first thing I used, especially when I was like using Next.js. I pretty much listened to everybody like, yeah, go ahead and use Prisma. I didn't like how kind of abstract it was in terms of like SQL and stuff like that. So I used Drizzle and I love it. I'm not gonna lie. I don't see myself switching anytime soon. That should have cleaned it up. All right, come here, refresh. Cool. This should appear now. So basically, because you should always see notes, even if it is pending, because you might have some notes for people in the space before a project gets started. So Needed to clean that, and I also need to clean it here because notes has that. All right, let's remove that guard. Just look for active. It should be active right here. That's not notes. That's is active projects. Latest notes. Cool. Let's remove you. Never used it myself. Just found it odd. You still have to write joins yourself. Yeah. That's why I prefer it actually, because Prisma you don't obviously do a lot of that. It kind of handles it, but I don't like not seeing exactly what is going on, especially when I'm like querying my database or something. I like being able to do joins or just do raw SQL if I need to. And Drizzle allows you literally to do like raw SQL, especially like when maybe you need something that's complicated that they don't necessarily cover. I mean, you can kind of see. I don't know if you can see. I mean, I don't know if that's possible in Charisma because I didn't use it long enough, but I was like, yeah, I like SQL, so I like being able to just manipulate it how I want specifically. So like right here. So instead of just using Drizzle, I can still, just hard code some SQL to get exactly what I want. I think same thing here where my I likes or whatever. But generally, yeah. I don't remember Prisma exactly. I don't think you could. I think it was a little bit harder to do that kind of stuff if I remember correctly, is why I switched. But I still personally actually like doing inner joins. I don't think it's that difficult. And I know exactly what's going on, especially when I come back to a code later and try to figure out like what the fuck is going on. I can just read this like, okay, this is exactly what I'm getting. Cool. I understand it. Building public 01. Yo, bro, what's up? What up, homie? But all right. So that should have cleaned it. But I mean, you should give it a try. You might like it. Overview should still be. Give us a refresh. Still not, so I must have missed one. Member count active project rows. So why am I not latest notes active projects? That's why. Because I need this. For my other ones. All right, let me read this. Latest notes. I'm selecting my notes from my project notes, and I'm joining it to my projects and joining to my users where it is, and it's not deleted. And just remove this actually. Can I join your live stream? Not today. Not today. I also tried to do YouTube, but never create any video. I don't know what you mean. All right, cool. So it's here. Now it's pulling all my notes, not just my active projects, but all of them. Animation's good. Cool. Let's go ahead and mark that done. Got rid of the layout shifts. Notes, project's good. Clients, let's come here. All right, project's good. Think I need to come in here though and go, for example, let's come here. Come to notes. Yeah, all right, so I need to clean that up too. So rude. Okay. I mean, I don't know who you are, so yeah, I'm not gonna like just throw you on my stream. And I don't really know what you mean. I also try to do YouTube, but never create any video. That's like the whole point of YouTube. Just create a video and just throw it online. I don't know what you're talking about. All right, so here's my notes. Let's come here. Here it is. This is. Why is it up here? That bookmark. All right, come here. Go to my list here. This should be reusing. Let's just do this. Let's go. No, that's the wrong one. Note card is what I'm looking for with full rounded medium. Come here. Nope. Black Cat, what's up? All good, man. Just still plugging away. What's going on with you? And then text light transition colors. Don't need the height. All right, let's just take this and then. Sure, I got that going. Ooh. What did that? That did something. My bad. Maybe if I had this height. No, that ain't it. What's going on? Weird. Currently revising some plans for a project I'm hopefully starting soon. Try not to get stuck in analysis paralysis. Oh, 1000%. 1000%. It's always that kind of fine line, right? Where you want to have most of your plan kind of set out. Like you want to have like all, not maybe not all the details, but you want to have like the core details hammered out, but you don't want to get stuck in like the little details that honestly you're probably going to change along the way anyway. So yeah, planning is always definitely the hardest. Ouch, this function has gotten big from Willy Codes. What's up? Indentation still better than the Claude source code, which has a function with a 13 deep nested loop. Indentation still better than the Claude source code, which has a function with 13 deep nested loop. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Yeah, I mean it's definitely got big, but it's most of this, the all this code, a lot of this you're seeing is honestly just Tailwind. A lot of this is just Tailwind, and it's kind of just what comes with it is just a lot of rewriting certain things. So that's not right. Something's going on. Something changed. Let's come here. Yeah, exactly. Want to have enough to keep me going, but not too much where I never start. 1000%. 1,000%. Like this started out as like a much smaller app that I was planning on doing, and honestly, it would have took me 3 weeks. But then well, what if I do this? What if I do that? What if I mean it'd be cool to put this feature in? I mean, you get that feature bloat for sure. That's why I'm like really trying to like just end this and get it up live. But yeah, planning is honestly it's probably the most important part about coding to me for sure. Is there a happy medium between Tailwind and CSS? I guess just making components. Yeah, components is honestly the best way to do it, so you don't have to just see this all over the place and just hide it within the components. But then obviously the components are also going to be pretty bloated with Tailwind. I don't miss CSS. Like, I mean, I was actually pretty good at CSS, just raw CSS, but I don't miss having incredibly bloated CSS files either. And it is pretty easy to come in here and just quickly change things with Tailwind, which I like. I don't need to like go hop back and forth between um, apps. I mean, between different files, my CSS file and then this one, I can just make the change quickly there. So typically what I do is you'll see a bunch of bloat, but then when I start optimizing, I put everything down to components, and then within my actual Tailwind file, I will, if it's a like function like this that I reuse multiple places, I'll literally just create a custom kind of class for it and then just reuse that close. That's the best way I found about doing it. But while I'm like quickly changing things, yeah, it gets pretty messy. But when I start optimizing, a lot of these will be put into like literal custom classes that I can just reuse all over the place. And that cuts down on a lot of it. But for quickly kind of like prototyping and yeah, I wouldn't trade Tailwind for anything right now. It took me a moment to realize it was web dev. So obviously just saw the indentation a little bit more. Uh Afan Ahmad. Hey man, first time here. Welcome. Appreciate you joining the chat. Would love to know what SaaS you're building here. Keep up the good work. I'll show you in a minute. And then unstructured means medium between Tailwind and CSS. Is just adding CSS to Tailwind project. I personally just use the override, which is plain CSS file, but it can't be ours. So yeah, like I said, like I mean, CSS is still CSS. It's still very functional and like it does everything you need. I just don't enjoy handling CSS files, and I do like being able to like look at something and know exactly what my class is doing because it's pretty plain language in terms of what you need. I don't need to go in and like individually set all these different sizes and numbers and shit like pixels and all that. So I don't miss doing that. But like I said, ultimately, I typically just I would take this entire thing right here, which I'll probably do later, but I'll just take this whole thing, which I know I'm going to reuse in multiple places, and make a custom class for Tailwind and then put it in my app file, and then just go ahead and take that and use it wherever it needs to be. So that cuts down on so much bloat right there, because this is already going to be used in probably like at least 5 to 10 different places. Just go ahead and change it like that. You didn't realize Tailwind has custom classes, so literally doing CSS and Tailwind. Yeah, it does. It's pretty easy to do. All Tailwind, I'll see right here. So all these are basically custom classes. So you can change all these anyways. This just comes with it, but you can come here and you define it as a font or a color or whatever. And then you can come in here and you can add all of those other Tailwind classes or CSS classes also to a class like this, and then just reuse that wherever it needs to be by just calling color or whatever. So this is basically saying whatever font styles you can change like that. So I mean, it's all still based on CSS. That's just kind of hidden behind all of these extra things. But you can come in here and just in this file like this and just literally come up with your own custom classes and then just reuse those as you would normally with Tailwind. And that cuts down on so much of the slop. But again, I don't touch any of that until it's like clearly like at a state where I feel like I want to optimize, because you just change things way too much. I don't know why I can't get this to. Not gonna fight with it. And project layout and project notes. No, I'm not gonna fight with it. I'm going to head to sleep, but keep up the good work. Hello, earn sub. I mean, I appreciate that, man. Have a good night. Appreciate you for hopping in here. Sakeem, what up, man? What up? Welcome back. What's going on? What you doing tonight? Today? I don't know what time it is, wherever you are, but what's good? All right, that didn't quite. I gotta figure out what's going on. I mean, what do y'all use for CSS? I mean, I know Tailwind's pretty much the standard, but what else? What else y'all doing? You can still write normal classes and avoid the vars, etc., by putting it in the layer section. Yeah, I do that. That is no different than if it were in your own CSS file. Good for beginning, then refactor the vars, etc. later. Yeah, I do that all the time. I do that all the time. If I had my other project, I'll show you. But pretty much right now, when I'm prototyping, my code is pretty sloppy. I'm not gonna lie, but that's just because I change things a lot, and it can get annoying to like go back into all those little spots. Great thing about agents is honestly, I'll just like, take all of these repetitive styles and classes and code and refactor it into one class or one file, and it'll do it. Honestly, that's one of the best part about agents for me, is cleaning up all the code slop. I am in Russia. Okay, what up, man? I should also probably go to sleep. Busy working on my side project. What you working on? Let me know. Vanilla CSS all the way. I don't know, man. I do like CSS. I mean, that was the first thing I was really good at in coding, honestly. I just don't enjoy like handling media queries and all. It's just so easy with Tailwind. I can't even lie. Tailwind makes it so easy. I don't have a ton of web experience, so I've used vanilla CSS and then Tailwind once. Inline CSS on the components directly. Oh, so you use inline CSS on all your components? I don't have a ton of web experience, so I've used vanilla CSS and Tailwind once. I mean, you should give it a try. Like, I don't know. Like, I know people feel some type of way about it, especially because it does just produce all of this, obviously. But if you just read it, it's so easy. Like, you're telling us this is a group, and this makes it easy to like do hovers and all that. It just simplifies what you would typically have to do with a lot more CSS coding, honestly, to me. And then, like I said, once you do refactoring, I literally just feed all this. Like, I'll literally just be like, hey, take all of this and go find in my project where else I'm using these same repetitive codes, and then refactor this into a custom class for me, and it does it. Do you feel like you have total control of Tailwind? I do, because Tailwind this looks like it's abstracting a lot, but it's really not. If you come into here, this is literally all it's kind of doing, and you can literally just change all of those settings as you want. So once you kind of learn it in and out, you can change everything that it's already doing. So you actually do. It's just kind of up to you. The more you use it, obviously, the more you use anything, you just get better. Credo say, oh hello Dreyfus. I don't know who Dreyfus is. If you're doing full stack, I don't want to deal with bloody CSS. Tailwind lets me just get on. Exactly. Like, if this was somebody else's project and I was just doing just the web design side of it, I might consider CSS or whatever, but I probably won't. But when I'm just like prototyping apps and trying to build and get things up as quickly as possible, Tailwind is, for me, is just the way to go. Because if I wanted to shadow, or I want to add a shadow, I don't need to add 5-6 different lines of CSS. I can literally just put shadow small, shadow medium, shadow large, and it typically does a good job. And then you can always tweak things as you want. You can still add custom values directly to these classes, but in terms of like understanding what I need to do, like, hey, on hover, do this. On hover, add this shadow. I want a shadow small, and then on transition. So it applies, this already applies full transition CSS rules to your transition that you would have to write as CSS. And when you're like trying to go fast, I don't want to be dealing with all that. Oh, Dreef is in the chat. Oh, what up, man? Tailwind, not so much a replacement for CSS. Is just a way to remain in code with the superset of utilities that does 90% out of the box. Exactly. It does not replace CSS. It just makes things faster for me, quite honestly. If you know how to use CSS, don't use Tailwind. I mean, I don't know. It saved me a lot of time in terms of having to like figure out. I don't like having to build and then go into a CSS file and then have to figure out all the styles out of the box. Like this just handles styles out of the box for you, and then you can come in later and optimize. Everybody's got their preferences, but I prefer working with Tailwind, and it's free, so it's kind of impressive. All right, let's see if I can figure this out. Writing your own sufficiently modular CSS framework will basically give you Tailwind. Yeah, for sure. But I don't want to do that either. Like, I mean, there's so many things you can do, obviously, with code. Like, write your own frameworks is just not on my to-do list at all, for sure. Like, it's just not. All right, somebody asked me before what my app was about. I mean, I've mentioned this a few times. A lot of y'all are already here, but basically, it's just a project management, client management kind of app where you can come in here, create your own workspace. For example, here where you can have all your clients and projects and tasks that you need to be done in one place. You can create projects which will invite clients to join that workspace. You can assign, for example, this is a completed one. You can create messages. You can create tasks for clients to complete. They can ask for revisions. You can do tweaks. You can leave notes for people that are also working in your team. You can assign tasks to people on your team. Basically, it's a project management app from start to finish. It's particularly for freelancers and small businesses that do a lot of client work and, need a place to manage everything because emails fucking suck. And there wasn't really a simple option out there for me that I saw. So I was like, why not just build one? It's good to build my skill set, and it's something that I will use a lot because I also do some freelance work. So do I have YOLO mode on? No, I'm not. You just got your SaaS to 20K members. Okay. That's what's up. What SaaS did y'all build? This will be my first production SaaS, I would say, that I'm building for sure. The thing I dislike about having Tailwind is having so much inline code. Yeah, I mean, that is the number one complaint for sure. Isn't it better to extract that all into a custom CSS class, keep things states? Yes, that is what I had mentioned before. I don't worry about, I don't, especially if I'm just building alone, I don't worry about optimization and cleaning up code until like I figure out exactly how I want things. And then I'll go back in and kind of do that. So I do that at the end, and I just give it to my agent, honestly, to do that, and it does a pretty good job. You better be using Copilot in that VS Code. Yes, I am. Since you're starting the game, let's go. Best time to build. I mean, it is. It's the best time to build significant apps without needing, a ton of partners or months and months and months of work. You can pretty much get stuff up pretty quickly, which I enjoy. I think neat is subjective. If your formatter does a good job, everything looks neat and clear. Anyways, my PHP will kind of look worse than a Tailwind heavy. I mean, yeah, code is messy. It is messy, and I just don't worry about it, especially if I'm not doing this with somebody else. Like, who cares? I don't care. And then again, at the end, I will just feed all this to the agent and go put this in custom classes for me. And you'd be surprised at how pretty good it does it. All right, so notes are good. this is good. That's what I'm looking for. I can probably, no, I'll leave those separate. All right. Next thing I need to do, I do need to wire up email verification. So verification, not it. All right, let me go check my better auth. All right, let's check the better auth. So I do want to, so basically I want email verification only on manual sign up. So somebody comes to register, it will say email verification, but if somebody gets an invite as a client or as a team member, workspace member, they should just automatically be verified, which I've done before. There's hooks and better off to do. Basically, we just go ahead and mark that field as verified once they click the link and register. And then, but normal verification needs to, before you get access to everything, I need to enable verification. It just helps with bots. Here we go. Email verification, send on sign up. This sends a verification email, send up. And then before they can log in, and every time a user tries to sign in. So I'm going to send verification email, send on sign on. Sign up, I don't need that. During sign up. You can also manually trigger. I don't need to manually. All right. So I do like better off. I can just take this whole markdown and I'm going to tell my agent just go through this. And Fauna Mod, thanks for the demo. Impressive work, man. I appreciate it. I'm also building AI SaaS for freelancers that manages project finances and includes agents for portfolio optimization, proposal writing, and client messaging. I mean, that's dope. That definitely sounds like something that makes solutions to little problems much more easily attainable and available. So that's dope. You have to let me know about that. When how far are you in the process of building it? And financial management for freelancers is definitely a big one. Sakim, I'm inspired by your work ethic. I get more energy from watching. Hey man, I appreciate that. Appreciate that. It's always, especially when you're learning and just kind of starting out, man, try to get your hands on the keyboards as much as you can. So I try to do it every day. Is it really effective to read docs to learn programming? I'm not reading docs to learn programming. This is better off. So this is what I use for my authentication. And when you're using a kind of third-party package or APIs to like implement some sort of system, this is a full-featured authentication system, you are going to have to read documentation and to figure out how you need to implement it into your kind of workflow. So this is just me learning or just double checking, because I've actually done this before, of how to implement this into my app, basically. So I'm not learning how to program. I'm just learning how to actually get this verification set up within my app. So yeah, you're gonna have to read docs if you're programming, especially if you're not building everything custom. But the best thing about it is that you can just, for sure, like with Better Off, just take all this markdown. As you can see, this is all from the site, and just feed it to your agent, and they will be able to parse out exactly what you need. So basically, I just took this markdown of the whole page. I told them, hey, I need to wire up some email verification. Go ahead and do that, and here's the documentation. All right, so basically, it's already figured it out. I'm required for email password sign in. Cool. Let's go here. Let's just check what he did. All right, so create a function because I want to exclude people that have been invited by email. I don't need email verification because you're already getting an email, so that pretty much verifies your email already. This is just basically getting pending workspace and existing client invitations, and it's finding it in my database and returning it as a function. And then here, it's creating a hook, like I said, for after a user is created. Basically should auto verify, which I've done this before. It's going to check the function to see if that is in my either workspace invitation or client invitation tables. And if it finds it, then it's just going ahead and update that newly created user and set their email verified to true. So that's what I expected. And then same here. And then I just basically configuring Better Off, saying, hey, I need email verification, and I need you to send it on sign up. I don't know about send on sign in. I might not need that because I don't want to email verify every time somebody signs in. I need to double check that. Then again, another variable to check skip verification email, and it's going to check basically if you are in any one of those basic tables. Verify your email. Here, email password enabled, and then require email verification true. Send on sign in. I don't know about that. Let me go check that. Fine. It's actually my final year project at university, and I'm about 70% done in terms of modules and deliverables. Dope. Is this something you've been working on all year? That's dope. So what do you like a CS? I don't know, wherever you are, but over here it's pretty much just computer sciences degree or computer engineering, depending on which school you're at. Is that basically what you're doing? And 70%, that's dope. I think I'm like 90% on this app, but that last like 5 to 10% is, at least on the MVP version of this, and the last 5 to 10% is always so frustrating. It's always so frustrating. All right, so this is if you enable require email verifications before. All right, so if you enable require email verification, which you did, they must verify the email before they can log in. And every time a user tries to sign in, send email verification is called. This only works if you have send. So if send on sign in is set to true, and if the user is trying to sign in with the email password. If a user tries to sign in without verifying from the email, you can. All right, so I need to make sure this doesn't fire on verified users, which I don't think it does, which I think that's what that should skip verification email is doing. But I'll double check that, and then I actually do want to use that function. Basically, so like others, if you're not verified, you can't even like get to your workspace until you verify, which that's the flow I actually want to do. All right, let's give that a look. Doing computer science, okay, that's what's up. My first degree was going to be computer engineering, but I switched out and did business management and marketing and all that goodness. But I've always been a kind of dabbler and self-taught pretty early on. But from Pakistan. I'm from Pakistan, man. All the way out there, man. Shout out to y'all. Appreciate you for taking the time and joining the stream because it's got to be late. What time is it over there? It's got to be like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. All right, so this is all wired up. Now let's give this a look. Let's resign, restart the server, and then if I log out because my account was never verified, I might fire. Let me double check. Check my database. I'm pretty sure I don't have this verified for anybody. None. So false. So let's check. I try to sign in. Cool. So email not verified. Blocking users is kind of an anti-pattern. I know. I know. My other apps don't do that. They let you sign in, but it just blocks all the features, which I mean, I don't really honestly. I'm gonna just cheat this because I don't feel like going in and blocking all those features right now. Because there's really only one feature that'll block. Because if you manually sign up, only feature you can is create workspace. But we'll see. I might change that. I might not. We'll see. I might just go ahead and cheat it just to get this up as quick as I can. But yeah, I typically don't. I typically still let users sign in and then just block all of the features that they normally would until they verify. But we'll see. Email not. I'm just gonna register. What's my user test for? Doug, let's go to test 5. Account created successfully, but all right, so let's see if what happens if you put a wrong password. It just tells you that it's something's wrong with your account. Basically, that's all it's going to say. It's going to say that you entered the wrong credentials. It'll just say invalid email or password, basically, like normal. But I need to check my emails to see if it actually got sent. And then I need to wire up indications telling you you need to check your emails. All right, so I got the email. If I come here and check, now it should be verified. test5email.com. All right, so that worked. But I need to make that way more intuitive. So it's 4 or 5 a.m., but I'm like a night owl, so feeling fresh right now. Hey man, I feel you. I'd definitely be up late a lot. That's kind of when feel like I'm at my most creative, honestly. That's when I get in my little flow, super late night. So I need to wire some toast and some indications basically telling a user verification email has been sent. Or here, I'll just do it now. So I'll tell it, don't block a user from signing in. Bill gate features until they verify their account, and we need to update to create a banner that they need to. All right, so basically, like I've done before on all my other apps, I am gonna do it that way. Like I forget who mentioned it, but somebody mentioned it. Basically, that opens window for brute force attacks. I mean, all it says is invalid email or password. It doesn't necessarily know which one it is. It doesn't say invalid email, and it doesn't say invalid email. It doesn't say invalid email. It doesn't say invalid password. All it just says is invalid email or password. You can take a guess which one that is. An attacker would know they are successful once they get a different response. I mean, I don't really know other ways that we do it. And I do have rate limiting on, and I do have security set up for stuff like that in general. But you do want to have some sort of indication that, hey, email or password, one of those is wrong. You need to figure out which one it is. And yes, I do have rate limiting already set up for all my major kind of requests and endpoints. They need to verify their account. Can you start? All right, but I'm going to switch back to Moflow. So I'm just going to let them sign in. I'm not going to block the sign-in process. So normally when you register, you automatically get signed in and brought to your dashboard. I'm going to keep that. But like somebody suggested, I forget who it was, I'm just going to do it normally and block your ability to basically create a workspace and whatnot and other things. But in general, it is set up initially. So just need little tweaks. All right, so let's see. So it's gonna tweak something. Yeah, so remove this send on sign in, which I thought was probably gonna be the way. Still, so basically I need to make this false. Basically, I can't have require email verification set up in Better Off because you need to require send on sign in. So I'm gonna basically disable that and then base everything based on the value of the tables of the verifications. So we'll do that. Then added a banner. With a handle resend verification function, which is just, again, using Better Off's send verification email. Let's check. Any plans to open source this? Not currently. I've thought about it, but we'll see. Let's go. Here we go. So it lets you sign in. We don't need to clean this up, but let's try that again. That was a weird little. Yeah, so I need to not show that banner yet until I come here and then verify your email to unlock all account features. We're going to send verification. And I shouldn't have one because this is one of my first accounts, so it shouldn't even send an email. Or I did actually. Here we go. All right, so let's come back. Actually, it's not that bad. Let's test resending. Verification email sent. Gotcha. I actually like really like it and would love to contribute. I mean, look, I'm not opposed to it. I haven't ever really done open sourcing for anything that I built yet. I've worked with people that I've met before, for sure, like on that kind of basis, but open sourcing, I'm not sure yet. We'll see. It's a possibility. Maybe not open sourcing, but certain people like I like and mess with and trust their code, I would for sure open it up to. Um, all right, so that's and if I come back, make sure verification happens. I come back here and I verify. Boom, verified. But I need a toast basically saying I verified. Okay. Delayed verification banner until they are done navigated to the dashboard during verification takes place. I also need a toast. All right, but generally, I mean, I'm so close to this being done. Last thing I need to do is notifications, which probably will take another 3 days to like make sure everything's tight. But while it's kind of wiring that up, my projects are done in general. I got timelines working, infinite loading, real time set up for that, so everything happens instantly. My task setup is done. Full kind of transparency about everything that's happened. All this is good. Revisions and details. Okay. So my project's looking good. So that's good. Task, notes done, clients done, members done, and invitations. And then settings, generally good. Come back. You get everything here. Okay. Let's see. Add into dashboard layout. Okay, cool. And layout, checks verified equals 1. You can replace navigation just to toast this one time. Resend, now use this callback. Cool. Use this callback URL. All right, so, all right, I added a verified parameter to the callback URL. So then it can check that. And if it's present, it'll launch that toast. And then I need that toast to actually clear. Let's go toast.success. All right, it does. So then it deleted the verified. Cool. And should have removed it from my root. Cool. All right, let's try that out. Am I planning to keep the name onboarding app? No, I'm definitely not. I actually have a name for it already and domain and all that. Just don't want to reveal that yet. I might do that in a later stream when I talk about how I like SEO and handle marketing and like all that setup for a like SaaS app or an app in general. So it'll be revealed probably here. But once I kind of wire this up to, have a landing page and then some resource pages and other things that you need for SEO and whatnot, I'll probably show that when I do it. That's one for what I'm doing. I need to come register. Jimmy dash 56. Now created. And then verify your email to unlock all account features. And I will need to gate all of these. All right, so I'm gonna need to gate users that aren't verified. So basically, all these create workspace needs to definitely be gated. I'm gonna gate my invitations and I'm gonna gate projects. But generally, you would never run into these problems typically. If you're coming by invitation, you should automatically be verified. But let's say somebody creates an account and then, well, this needs to be fixed as well. But let's say somebody creates an account and then later on, somebody from Workspace invites them to join theirs. I'm going to gate that feature so they can't join until. Love that Windows XP background you're everyone for sure, man. I appreciate that. It's that classical, man. It's that nostalgia. That was like golden era Windows for me. So that's kind of what I grew up with, and that's every time I see it, it just hits. And then when alone T21, curious why you do the live coding. Why not? I mean, basically, why not? I do coding anyways. I'm gonna be if I wasn't going live, I would be doing this anyways. I'd be sitting on my computer building this out. I've already done a bunch of live streams with other things and have all my kind of things set up. So why wouldn't I do it? Basically, I like chatting with some of y'all. I learn from y'all, and some of y'all learn from me, and vice versa. And I think the exchange of information always makes everybody better, especially when it comes to like programming stuff. And then I also find that if you are able to explain your app or your code or what you're doing to another person in a way that they can understand that haven't been there from day one, what you're doing, I think that means you have a generally good grasp. So it also helps me kind of reinforce my learning as well. It's just kind of that. And then also on top of it, it's free marketing. For y'all don't know, this is free marketing. If you're doing live coding, if you want to get your name out there, especially as like freelancer and whatever, when your name pops up when they search you and you have buttloads of video content and other things to show that what you can do, kind of a cheat code, to be real with y'all. So marketing and learning and just enjoy chatting with people. Wouldn't having a confirmed password field and sign up helpful? Because I bet I must have entered mine wrong a lot of times. I mean, yeah, it's always kind of that is always kind of part of it, but generally I don't like to overcomplicate things. I like to just have it as one, but I might or might not. We'll see. There's always those little quality of life touches at the end that I will definitely change as I go on, but this was all kind of done. All that was set up from the jump pretty quickly. Why isn't this here? My workspace is not justifying for whatever reason. Bet you it's because the card. Fetch, yeah, that's fine. I'll figure that out later. All right, I don't want to find all the places that need to be gated. I'm just gonna tell it I need some actions from verified users. So basically, gate create a workspace. And starting canceling a project. Caraho Wan, what up, dog? What's good with you today? Drufus, you built Persify AI avatars. I'm working on my video gen project right now. Is that the one where you actually like create a AI version of yourself that can kind of like speak for you and do things as you basically in videos and whatnot? Is that the kind of the same thing? And then what is the coding agent plugin? Copilot. Yeah, I'm using VS Code and I have GitHub, Pro features. So like you use Copilot and all that whatnot. Carol taking a break from classes. You said you're doing the hacking classes still? Injury fist. Exactly. Okay. That's dope. That's dope. I've never actually used one of those myself, but I definitely seen them out and about. You said you got 20,000 users on there already? All right. So I basically tell it, go ahead and find all the places. I don't want to have to go through all this. It's going to gate my actions for unverified users. So it's going to gate creating a workspace, accepting an invitation, and starting or canceling a project. Basically, all the actions main actions that you can basically take. So it's going to gate, yeah. Okay. Yeah, let's do it. You said right now it's Arabic classes. Okay. How long you been doing? How long you been doing that? How long is it to? How difficult is that to learn? I mean, I've been in a couple Arab countries, and learning language is always extremely difficult for me. So, like, how's that going? Only other language I'm pretty solid in is, I would say, Spanish. A little bit of Italian. I can actually be conversational in Italian. Um, Griefus, yes, sir. Well, 19.6K, but this is like my sixth project, so it took some time and ton of reiterating. I mean, shit, that's the whole point, right? That's dope that you can get that many people onto anything that you build. That's definitely the goal for anything that you build. So that's dope. Are you self-taught? Did you go to school? Like how'd you get into it? Fawn, which LLM do I prefer? Do you maybe have separate preference for planning or execution? Yeah, so generally I use Opus 4.6 for most of my planning, especially for like big features. I just think it does a pretty good job of gathering all the context of my code base and all my packages, and then coming with a pretty well planned out and thought out plan for how to approach whatever feature you're trying to build. And then when I go to actual implementation, I switch to 5.3 because it's pretty fast. And then cheaper, obviously, way cheaper. And for implementation, as long as you have like a pretty good plan, it's you can pretty much use any agent from my experience. But one thing I actually like about the planning from Opus 4.6 is literally just the way it writes it out. It just makes it into a very easy to read and easy to follow plan. So that's typically my flow. And I hooped in the league overseas. So yeah, I did 4 years at University of Nevada, and then I done G League. Actually, I was close. I mean, super close. Almost signed Houston. But then I ended up playing overseas for like 13, 14 years. So I did G League overseas, and then a little bit here and there. All right, let's see where it. All right, so email verified for my statuses. Verify your email before starting this project is the text, I believe. Start this project. Okay. Appreciate you, King. I think you had the same route, but I kept quitting on learning to code because kept getting distracted with building different projects. But I've been building since 2022. Okay. We said you also hoop, but not those levels. But I'm a hoop return builder too. That's dope, man. I think more of us athletes need to kind of start tapping into different fields, not just going into media. That's one thing I did not want to do is media or coaching. After I was done, I'm a builder, so I wanted to learn how to build my own, and that's kind of always been my pursuit. I've been doing it since like college, but definitely want to see more hoopers and athletes getting into the fields for sure. Like, can't just always be a media pundit or a coach. Like that ain't everybody's route. We got to start using our skills in different ways. Um, but you said you've been building 2022 of AI. Okay. Like, do you just basically use all agents, or like what? Are you able to kind of get in there yourself and code? Get it, man. Do I got a Discord? I think I got a Discord somewhere. I'd have to dust that thing off. I ain't gonna lie. It's probably been years since I've even looked at that. But if I do, it's probably IMD Hunt. You can, you know what I mean? Let me see if it's matter of fact, let me check. Let me see what I got. Yeah, if I got a Discord, my username is gonna be IMD Hunt for sure. But I'd have to dust the thing off. Quigajo? I don't know how to say your name. Let me know if I butchered that shit or not. But what am I making here? I'm making a basically a project management kind of app, full featured that allows a freelancer or small business or whatever to kind of come in here and run a client from start to finish, from onboarding to project completion. You can assign messages, you can create messages, message back and forth, assign tasks, invite team members and whatnot. It's basically a way for freelancers to manage projects and clients without having to deal with emails or like 4 or 5 different suites and apps and shit. So that is what I'm building. Um, Good shit, man. How on what did I study in college? I Was it a sport? Nah, I mean I played sports in college. I was a Division 1 athlete. I played basketball for sure in NCAA, but I studied business management. Would I be comfortable sharing my LinkedIn or GitHub? Maybe. Yeah, I think it's on my YouTube channel. Honestly, if you check my YouTube, I think I have my GitHub link on there somewhere. I'd have to double check. But if it's not on there, I'll probably add it. Um, probably just GitHub slash IMD Hunt as well. I think most of my stuff is just IMD Hunt. So I can't read syntax for shit anymore because I was learning Python on and off, but I'm a Next.js React TS crackhead now, so Opus 4.6 can't be. I mean, look, ain't nothing wrong with that. I know people be kind of be hating and a little bit mad, like, are you AI agent? Are you AI coding? But I mean, like, shit, like, it's there. It's a tool. Like, if you work for somebody these days at any company, they're gonna force you to use those tools anyway. So you might as well get good with it. So I feel you. Um, my route was a little different. Like, I didn't touch AI for like the first 8 months when I was like hammering home like programming and learning like the ins and outs of it. I made sure I didn't touch it. I only used it when I needed help instead of like running the Stack Overflow. But nowadays, yeah, I'm pretty comfortable now enough where I can like let the agent kind of do things, and I actually read syntax pretty damn well. He thought he was getting bucks back then. Oh no, I was definitely getting bucks back then. That's one thing about me. I like don't let the code fool y'all, bro. When I get onto that court shit, I was actually kind of like that. I ain't gonna lie. Um, I only read markdown files now. I mean, yeah, that's the way. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I kind of like reading the code and understanding everything that's going on. But I'm definitely getting more comfortable with letting AI kind of like do what it does. Yeah, for some of y'all that keep asking, my GitHub is, I want to say under. See if I can find it. Yeah, my GitHub is literally just github.com/IamDHunt. IamDHunt. I won't. Not all my repositories there are public, but there's definitely some stuff there. All right, let me check this dashboard. Invitation card. Added a prop for can accept. Okay. Can accept. Accept invitation. Verify your email before accepting invitations. Okay. All right, so here it is. So it's guarding my backends with API. So it's not email verified. Do not allow it to happen. Not needed to do it in a few places. Create organization. Getting my session, and then if I'm not verified, again, set the error to here, and then toast error. Verify your email before creating workspace. Okay. My index, same. Verify email for accepting invitations. Create workspace button. Basically, if I'm not verified, again, just throw that toast. Same for invitations. Same for projects. You shouldn't be able to get to this page, but if you're not verified, you can't create. So basically it's just guarding all my spots, and it should, little overkill in some places that you wouldn't even have access to, but I'm not mad at that. Sam Z GFX, just found my stream, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for joining. Welcome in. What are you using for the backend and auth? So all my auth for all my apps that I roll nowadays, especially on JavaScript and React, is always Better Off. That is my go-to. It's free. It's highly featured, and takes care of all my needs basically. So Better Off is what I do for all my authentication, and then backend I just basically host on Superbase and use my Drizzle ORM to communicate directly with it. So I don't necessarily set up my own backend anymore, but I'm pretty good about keeping it very secure. Dreyfus, We've got to get all the builds together. It's rare finding us. Gonna subscribe. Hey, appreciate the subscription. And yeah, I definitely want to build a little community so we can like, exchange ideas, work on each other's shit, like build that up. Like definitely better these days than ever to kind of get into it. Let's collab on stream one day on Twitch one day. I mean, I'm open. I'm definitely open. I literally just started streaming on my personal one for like the last week or so. So also just kind of getting back into it. A fun of my, I love your profile site, man. I appreciate that. Appreciate that. That was actually the first thing I built when I was doing my free co-camp thing, was just build my own portfolio site. Gonna work on that, but yeah. So I can even spread it over and find out. Absolutely. So like there's definitely a lot of places where I know you'll never touch, but I ain't mad at it. I always let it kind of like overkill. People be finding ways around a lot of guards anyway, so you definitely kind of have to overkill when it comes to security. The MZ is cool, nice man, sounds good. I come from PHP. What up, Mosquito? Got his ass. I come from PHP/Laravel background and will be working more on my own project soon. Okay. I mean, I know a little bit of PHP. Honestly, the first time I learned PHP was working with WordPress, honestly, because that's where a lot of those plugins are at, and that's the first thing I kind of learned. Like, but I've definitely gravitated towards TypeScript, JavaScript, and React. Especially as a freelancer, most projects you're kind of gonna be seeing that people need help for outside of obviously like the usual CMSs like Shopify and WordPress is going to be on React. So that's kind of just where the work is. So I'm trying to get like really strong in that, and then I want to learn Python. Python's probably the next language I'm probably going to try to learn. All right, let's double check these. Create workspace, cool. Verify your email before creating workspace. That's guarded. I need to check my invitation, so let me go ahead and send some. Let's go test these 6. So come here, refresh. No, I cannot accept. I can only decline. Okay. That works. And then let's say I try to invite you to a project. Well, first of all, let's decline this, make sure that works. Cool. Refresh. That worked. Then if I try to invite you to a project, you shouldn't be able to join. So let's do that. Let's go. This is just test. Test. All right, so I come refresh this. You can see this here. I don't have a start, so I come click this project. Verify your email before starting or canceling this project. So that should work. All right, so like that, and then I think I need a guard email changing. You shouldn't be able to change your email as well. Or no, I won't change that because you need to verify anyways. So all the major errors are already guarded. Can't create a workspace, can't join invitation, and then can't start a project. So then if I come back here, cool, nice man, sounds good. Oh wait, let me skip that. You said makes sense. Front end is looking clean. I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Definitely. When it comes to like development, I'm definitely a design first person. So like if I can't properly picture it or see it before like I go to design, like I just don't think I can actually build it. So I'm always designing first, and then I kind of base how I want something to look based on what I'm going to build, honestly. Let's send this person another invite. Let's come here. Refresh. So I got the invitation. So then if I come here, I'm not going to show you all my postmark, but grab my email. Where's my verification? Okay, here it is. So if I come here, grab my email. Now, if I go to, it cleared it, but it did not give me my toast. But now I can actually start or cancel, and I can accept or done, and I can go to my crate. So, okay. Guards are there. Let's try this one more time. Let's go. Let's go to sign up. Account created. Check my emails. All right, I got my verification. I think I know why now. Hold on. All right, so I don't. So this callback URL, where is it? Dashboard, invitation card, no. Nope. Okay, so the banner has the new callback, but I don't think, so if I resend this, it adds the verification, but it's not sending with my current callback. It's my magic link. I don't need to touch that. All right. Honestly, I wish some of y'all could see what I had to do to get this magic link flowing and working. That shit was kind of hard. I'm not gonna lie, but I think what I did was kind of low key genius, because that shit was a lot to get around for what I needed to do. But email. All right, so Nextdos never fires. That's the initial verification. All right, try this resend. Just dumped about 1,750 words of rough plans into Opus, and it's absolutely shredding me, but it'll be worth it. You'll definitely be much happier in the end, for sure. Planning is absolutely a must. Do you plan out your whole apps like from the start? Do you basically try to get all of your app features done in one go? So basically on your first plan, do you say like, here's my app, here's all the features I want, here's blah blah blah, like do you dump all that, or do you do it feature by feature? Because typically what I do is I do the core app, what I need, like here's my tech stack I need, here's all that, and then wire that up, and then I go like, I do my plans feature by feature. So how do you typically do it? And then magic link for email. Yeah. So basically what I had a hard time figuring out is trying to make an easy way of inviting a client, because it's basically two separate tables in my database, so I can keep that separation and then still allow users and whatever. So workspaces have clients that are linked and tied to users, but they're two separate things. So basically the whole setup I had to do was, I'll just show y'all. Where is it? All right, so here's my action to actually create a project, and in that project, you basically need to invite somebody. Where is it? Update. I think yeah, so here it is. Basically, here's my creation flow. So getting a result data. If there's lead members just doing that, here you create the project. You gotta find if the user is already registered, because if the user is already registered, it'll basically also go to their profile and it'll automatically link that new client record to their user ID. This is what this is doing, and then making sure you're not getting archived ones. But if there is one, basically you update the clients and then you set the user ID to the existing one. Otherwise, if it's not, you've got to find a new client and then you insert into your client records, and then where is it? Create a new project. Then I had to create like a whole project path, and there, here it is. Basically sending a magic link email. So when basically when the email client clicks this link, it had to do a lot of things. It had to sign you in. It had to link your user ID to your client ID. It had to also clear something. I forget exactly what it was, but basically here's my sign in magic link. Basically the email, callback URL. I forget what the app origin. Okay, project path, app origin, and then you have to set a callback URL. And then basically, so I had to rewire it so then once you sign in, you don't need to continually do this, because with BetterOff's Magic Link, once you create an account using Magic Link, they don't give you a password. So I had to rewire it so that you create an account, but then it forces you to a password creation page, basically. So they have to create an account before they can fully log in, and then it creates their password, links it to the user account, and links their user account to the email. So it was actually a kind of a whole process to kind of figure that out. But that is what I'm talking about with Magic Link. You go feature by feature and Personify 90% vibe coded. I mean, I'll definitely check it out. I'll check out Personify. Yeah, avatars. I'll check it out after this for sure. Now you said 90% is vibe coded. Now, do you run into any problems like security issues, maintenance? Like, how do you maintain it? How do you add features on top of features? Like, do you have problems? Do you run into issues? Like, that is my main thing, is why I don't do 100% vibe coding and agent coding, is because I find that they have a pretty hard time with maintaining code, especially as it continues to grow and bloat, and then it just adds more bloat on top of things. And then a lot of times I have issues with security, where it's like they leave a lot of holes and leaks that if you don't necessarily know what you're looking at, I think I know a lot of people kind of run into. So like that's why I kind of go by feature and then double check what it's doing, because it has introduced some serious security flaws and things that I built where I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, basically? So I'd be very kind of like concerned about vibe coding big major production apps. But I mean, I've always been curious how people kind of manage it all the time, fixing our feature flags. That was nuts. See, I try to avoid that. I try to like get a very strong foundation. I let it, actually do the coding, but then I always kind of go back and double check, because unless you're very explicit, and honestly, it doesn't always know about certain flaws in security codes, especially if you're using like third-party packages and APIs. I find that it kind of hallucinates solutions to things that just aren't there. So I'm still kind of concerned about that. But Peyton Erickson, I'm trying to build software with AI by constantly running into walls because I don't know how to code. Should I learn front end code or back end? What language? And I just don't know where to learn. That's kind of a big question, man. No matter what you do, if you don't understand even at least surface level what the code is doing, and you're just letting your agent do everything, you're going to run into some serious issues. Maybe not right away. Like, it's very good at prototyping things. It's very good at scaffolding. But when you start to do like major apps that handles a lot of features and a lot of systems, and you're dealing with databases and you're dealing with sensitive information, if you do not know what you're looking at, you're going to run into some serious headaches. So I'm not going to say that you necessarily need to learn how to code 1000% or at the highest level, but you need to start learning what you're seeing. At the bare minimum, I think if people are building with AI and building full scale production apps, especially they're dealing with information and people's money where things can go legally wrong for you, at least understanding generally what the code is doing is a good place to be. Like, you might not be able to know how to code every single thing, but if I can read your code and know what it's trying to do, and if I can kind of identify major issues that it's doing, then I would highly recommend, if you're trying to get into app building or any kind of development as a full scale kind of thing, just start doing some lessons, man. Free Code Camp is there. I always suggest it to people. It's free in the title, and it gives you a very good base understanding of what code is doing, what is the generally standardized industry standard ways of doing things, and it kind of gives you a good understanding of like when code is not right, when code is opening security holes, when code is like going to cause issues in the future. So like I would definitely suggest going somewhere like Free Code Camp and just getting the basics. Peyton Erickson, what did I use to learn how to understand code? Free Code Camp. I mean, outside of that, I mean, this isn't like a brand new thing for me. I've been doing this for a while, and I've been coding and building things for years now. But to get a deeper understanding, I was like, I need to like truly dive in. And for me, the beginning of that journey was Free Code Camp. It taught me basically the basics of coding, of JavaScript, of SQL, of certain small like backend things and like that. Honestly, if you're building databases, like you need to learn SQL, 1000%. But generally, Free Code Camp was my kind of road. They do have some pretty good lessons. There's a lot of help out there, and if you ever run into issues, obviously you can turn to AI or you can turn to the forums. But Free Code Camp was where I started, and then I did YouTube tutorials for about 2-3 weeks. But don't get stuck in YouTube tutorial hell, because building small to-do lists can only take you so far. And after that, you need to just start building. You need to have hands on keyboard as much as possible. You need to build shitty apps. You need to build shitty code, honestly. And then the moment you start running into things like third-party packages or APIs, no amount of like school teaching or teaching is going to teach you the issues that you're going to run into, because things change so much. So quite honestly, after you kind of get a core understanding, which I would suggest doing just from a security standpoint, it doesn't take that long. Honestly, 2 to 3 months, you can probably get all that done. Just get your hands on the keyboards and build what you want to build first, and try to build the hardest things you can. And the amount of walls and obstacles you're going to hit and learn how to get over is going to teach you infinitely more and faster than anything else. Hands on keyboard, fail, fuck up, build shitty code, build shitty apps, and then you're just going to get better. I mean, as a hooper, it's the only way we know how to do it. We call it, time on court. You got to get time on court. Black Cat, I'm a scope planner. I don't expect to get everything, but typically I'll brain dump all my ideas out, then group by how core it is the project, refine MVP, and then rest I'll refine as I get. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much how I do it. That sounds right. There's always that there's like the dream app, and then there's MVP. Like there's always that big gap between like how you want your app to like fully be featured out and fleshed out, and then there's like, all right, what's the bare minimum I need to just get this up, and then kind of iterate from there. So yeah, I know that struggle. Did I have hoop dreams but found that there were other ways to score? Um did I have hoop dreams? I lived out my hoop dreams, so a little bit differently. I did have hoop dreams. I was an athlete pretty much my entire life. Either it was basketball, football, or whatever. As a kid, I knew I was gonna go Division One and play, so I did that. And then I played professionally for like 14 years, and I did it at a very high level. So I would say I've lived out my hoop dreams for sure. And then I was like, I have other dreams as well. MVP always a way of humbling, but also making sure you know it exactly works. Exactly. It's always kind of like learning how to whittle down your dream app to like the bare essentials and figuring out like this is just what I need. This is the core functionality of it. Everything else is just extra. And if the core functionality sucks or people don't like the core functionality, just go ahead and ditch that app or rethink your whole MVP, because you're just building shit on top of shit at that point. Feature bloat is a real issue. I would say that. All right, so let me check my. Yeah, all right, I figured out the issue. So on resending my email verification, my verified param gets attached, but on initial send, it is not. So let's see if it can't wire that up. Then the markup humbles you again after 1000%. 1000%. That's why I try to keep my MVPs as kind of small and core as I possibly can, and then let people test it out and kind of tell me what they want. What products have I made and what do they do? For the most part, I built a ton of websites for other small businesses and whatnot, and I've had built some small apps for other people that I won't mention just for certain reasons. I don't think that I don't know if they want me to or not, but for myself personally, this will be my first major SaaS app that I built. Other than that, I've built a whole I mean, I'll show y'all. I've shown this a few times, but the app I'm probably most proud about right now, this is called Collective. Let me go and sign up. This is actually live. This is a curated kind of social platform for creators. It's still obviously in beta and we're building out a lot of features, but in general, it is a place to kind of for creators to connect and share their works and, you know, build out communities and networks like that. Basically split into two different user bases, creators and curators, and invite only right now. But this is my most full feature. Like, it's extremely built out. You can share all types of things, links, notes, images, messaging setup, notification system setup, profiles. Like, this is probably the one that I'm like kind of the happiest right now. But it's still doing a bunch of testing and beta, and it's invite only, and we're inviting creators first. But this is the one that I'm probably the happiest about right now. And when I have I worked in a company as a developer before? No, I actually have never actually worked for a company. I literally just stopped hooping. Recently, one thing that I do, I am low-key kind of interested in doing is, like, I've had some opportunities that I might take them, is working in a company just to kind of get a feel and understanding about how that kind of process is and how they do things and kind of how I can apply it to myself. But ultimately my goal is to build things for myself and build my own apps and like kind of like freelance if I can and just do what I want to do. That if I could do that full time, that's what I want to do. But I actually am interested in trying out a company and just seeing just how generally they work, because I'm sure it's very different than how I work, and I'm low key kind of interested. Is systems hold on? Is systems design something I can learn on Free Code Camp? Well, now, when you say system designs, do you mean like a full stack kind of system where you're like tying your front end to your back end and all that? If that is the case, you will learn the individual components of a system, but no, you will not learn a full system. You won't learn a full system until you start building a full system, quite honestly. For the apps I built for businesses, did you sell the entire software to them or do you charge them monthly? No. For the apps that I built, it was basically a one-time fee. I just basically build out what they need for whatever kind of fee I set for them. And then in terms of maintenance or future features, that's another fee. Obviously, you can make a pretty good amount of money just on basically a month, like basically a maintenance retainer. A few of them I have that where they pay me a certain amount, and then whenever they need me to either go in and fix things, I can go in and do that. Especially if their app is a custom app, which, you know, that's where you're gonna make a lot of money as a freelancer, is with custom apps and managing like backends and hosting and whatnot. Because very few people, especially people that have ideas, know how to do stuff like that. So I get paid a fee, a contract fee to build it, and then I get retainers for maintenance, and then everything else is like feature additions are its own separate fees. Clean code developer, never heard of it. All right, let's see. So initial verification now carry a verified. So your dashboard success toast can fire on its first verification too. Let's check that. Let's go. Dashboard. All right, here it is. There's my email verification. Send on sign up. Sending the verification email. It's checking if it should skip it. And then you're adding a then you're basically creating your own URL. So you're getting the better auth URL. And then here's your callback, and then here's your callback URL. It's gonna be this dashboard, and then you're gonna take that and set this verified to 1. Cool. Send my callback URL to that, and then verification link is the verification URL. All right, that should work. You have created an app for a local coffee shop to download on iOS, and I created a dashboard for them to edit what the app shows. How do I figure out how much to charge them? I mean, that's going to be between you and them, quite honestly. That should have been worked out before you build anything, honestly. You should have a contract and you should have a set price before you even do any work. But if you've already built it and you're trying to figure out how much to charge, I mean, best way, look around the market, look around like Upwork, Fiverr, whatever kind of like freelance sites there are, and kind of look at the general prices that they are charging, and you can kind of basically call it market average and kind of base your pricing on that. But yeah, you should definitely have your pricing and contracting set up before you do any coding or any work. You don't want to build something and then people back out on you. But just use the market, use other people around you to kind of average and figure out your pricing. I typically see what's out there, and I might charge you a little bit lower than what the general average is, or more. We'll see depending on whatever, but I try to keep it around what's out there. All right, so let's check this verification. Come here. Cool. Now I'm getting a double toast though. All right, let me clean that. Working in a company works the same as the hooping team. Some coaches are great, some are terrible. Sometimes you get Steph Curry teams, sometimes you get the worst teammates. I mean, yeah. I mean, business is business at the end of the day. People look at what we did as professional athletes as like not necessarily a job, but trust me, it is 1,000% a job. It is business all the way, 100%. There's so many things that go on behind the scenes, and like you said, sometimes you get great coaches, sometimes you get terrible, sometimes you get good management, sometimes you get bad. Yeah, so like I mean, I'm sure it's very similar. I think business is business at the end of the day. Oh, just more so not necessarily talking about working in companies, but more so working in the tech side of things and like how their flow is in terms of like having multiple people working on like multiple features and kind of like maintaining all that with all these pulls and requests and all that kind of stuff. I would be kind of interested in seeing. Oh, this is not deduped. Added a small session storage guard. All right, so it says it fixed it. So let's come back here. All right, what did it do? It says verify toast key. All right, so created a key for this host. And if there's already one, it's basically kind of remove my duplicates, which does not equal one. All right, let's try that. Let's try this. Let's go test 8. Now created. So now on my initial, full soccer potential. What's up? I used to play soccer. I feel you. Why did I quit? I mean, I wouldn't necessarily call it quitting, or I mean, I guess retiring, if you call retiring quitting. But yeah, basically, I just kind of hit the point where I did, 14 years. Like, what else is there kind of for me to do? Basically, like I've done everything I kind of wanted to do in that field. You know, after 13 plus years spending like 9-10 months away from home and from family and from friends, it kind of gets old a little bit. Like, you kind of want to start doing other things 1000%. And like, it just felt like it was time. Like, I want to be home. I want to be with my family. Parents getting older, niece, nephews getting older. Like, you miss all that. So it's kind of like, you want to keep doing this for 4 or 5 more years and not necessarily be into it like you were, or you want to just start doing something else. And quite honestly, I wanted to switch before I was too old to like really make that switch. So give me a little runway to like get my foot into something else. Peyton Erickson, however, appears to charge around $100 an hour with most of their developers. How do I find a set price or a monthly price? Look on Upwork. Upwork has projects as well, and I don't really do charging by the hour because sometimes maybe I'm faster than what maybe what you're asking could be pretty fast, or maybe it's going to take me longer. Like, I don't like to haggle back and forth with people about hours, so I just make a set price, and then every other feature is an extra charge on top of that, and then you kind of got to base value by yourself. And if you want to do it by hours, you can look at the hours and kind of be like, what's the average amount of hours to build an app, and kind of price it for you there. But I can't like tell you the price. What you should set it. That's kind of on you. Like, you gotta kind of figure it out yourself and figure out what is the price that's going to get you the most work. That's honestly the price you should set it at, and then what you're comfortable with. Between what you're comfortable with and what's going to get you the most work, you kind of got to find your price that way. All right, so I'm here, and then I go to verify. Should get the toast. Cool. All right, so I set up a verification. Pretty easy. I don't know how some of y'all like manage all these, to-do lists and tasks and features for your app, but this is how I do mine. I literally whiteboard all my like to-dos and features and things I need, and it keeps me on track. Just leave right here. How often do I stream? If daily? No, I wouldn't say daily. I mean, I've definitely been doing it more than I have, but I try to do it at least every other day, every 2 days, and then time. Whenever I'm kind of free, so maybe midday around West Coast time is typically when I try to get on. But whenever I'm on, I'm typically on here for like 4 or 5 hours at a time, especially when I'm building something out. So I would say like every other day, every 2 days. That's kind of been the pattern, and then we'll see if it continues to grow from there. We might do more if people want more, but we'll see. All right, so I forget who brought that up to me, so I might not remember who said password confirmation, but it's kind of a good idea. Let's fire that up. So this one right now, it's just name, email, password. So I should, is this invitation? I shouldn't say that. Let me fix that. I need to conditionally hide this one, and then I'm gonna add another confirmation here. I think it should be, check my variables. Invitation ID. Okay, invitation. So let's just do that. And, oh shit. Go valid invitation. I'm gonna check this. Cool. To edit, now let's add that confirm password. I could do this manually, but I'm not going to. Fire up a confirm password field registration. All right, that'll fix it. So it should go in there and wire that up. While I'm doing that, let me check something else. All right, last thing I'm probably gonna do for the stream, and then that'll clear up my kind of path forward to just basically do notifications as my last major feature, and then do some security checks, and then I will finally be able to get my MVP version up on my server. I know I've been saying that for a few days now, but honestly, the last few days I've been able to get a lot of this done. Last thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually create some skeleton loaders for all of these places. One of the best parts about agents, honestly, is stuff like that. Instead of having to go into every single route and figure out where and how to replace everything with skeleton loaders, I literally just throw it to my agents like, hey, create skeleton loaders for this and this and this. And it does a pretty good job of finding all that. So that's the last thing I'm going to do. And then next time I hop back on here, it's definitely going to be notifications time. Once you submit it, it gets, it doesn't get any type errors. And then here, what did I do here? Oh, it just renamed my register schema, and then here is the actual form. So looks like I might have lost connection. I don't know if that's just on Twitch or all of them, but let me know when I'm back. All right, I think I'm back. Yeah, let me know if I'm back.
Yeah.
Appreciate the sub. What project am I currently building? I'm still working on my project management app. Won't go into full details again, but basically my project management apps for freelancers and small businesses and whatnot to manage all their projects and their clients. Kind of like what you were asking about how to manage certain client work. So you can come in here, create your own project, like a website build or an app build, and then you would basically invite your client to join that, and that is where you can, keep all things in line. You can manage messaging, you can create tasks that you need, like login credentials, business assets or branding assets, colors, all that. So it's all managed here in line, and everybody can see with full transparency what has happened and what needs to happen within the project. And Mystic Raptor, what up? How long have I been coding? Off and on, probably like 15 years full time, probably like going about 2 years now. I would say like I've been at this pretty much full time, trying to like make this into my next full time kind of gig. But I first started kind of dibbling and dabbling in coding probably like 15 plus years ago. All right, so let me check my register. Should have it confirm. Cool. So now when I come here, and then I go should not happen. Cool. Passwords do not match. Here. Cool. Exactly what I wanted. So that works. Next thing, like I said, skeleton loaders. So I need to figure out the areas that I need for my skeleton loaders. Let me log out. Let me see. Okay, so I'm gonna tell it first to line these up. Um, $15 years. You said 15 years. I'm finishing faculty of, who's that? Of informatics this year. I had a bad accident and then I lost my memory. Damn, sorry to hear that, man. And I need to learn everything from the beginning. Yeah, who knows? You might know it even better the second time around. Quite honestly, might work in your favor. But 15 years, yeah, I wouldn't say like 15 years pure of coding, but 15 years on and off, 1000%. Kind of doing things on my own and more self-taught. But like I said, the last year or two has been like full speed. Like this is what I'm going to be doing. And yeah, and like learning all the ins and outs. So just dibbling and dabbling, but the last year or two, very seriously, like trying to make this into something. But yeah, sorry to hear about that, man. Okay, so what was I doing? So I need skeleton loaders for my tasks, my projects, invitations, and workspaces. So best thing about agents so far for me is this part of things. I can literally just be like, hey, go wire up some skeleton loaders for these. And then what it always does is it's going to use ShadCN, which has a pretty good skeleton component. That's what I pretty much use, and it makes things just so much easier. Let's go here. Let's go to ShadCN skeleton. So they already kind of give you a pretty decent, it's already used ShadCN skeleton loaders for all these that are pretty easily customizable. That's typically what I use for like all that, and it's pretty good. So I'm gonna stick with that. Man, it's fucked up. I've been learning Python, can't remember anything. I have like 6 months to learn back in developing for junior level. I mean, yeah, it's gotta be hard because I mean, obviously memory is such a huge part about coding and programming and skills in general. So sorry to hear that for sure. But I mean, like 6 months to learn back in developing for a junior level. Huh. I mean, Python, from what I hear, is not the most difficult language to learn. Everybody's told me it's pretty easy, especially if you already know like JavaScript or anything. So I think you do it, man. 6 months. And I guess, I mean, now I'm thinking about it, like one good thing about like having these agents also is like, like somebody like in your situation, if you don't necessarily remember every single thing about it, you can always ask an agent to kind of help you, and it might spark something that you had learned earlier. So, all right, so here we go. So create a skeleton. Um, should have reused it in all of these areas. Right. So if it's loading, so basically it's a state of, where is it? Grabbing a dashboard loading, meaning it's revalidating or the state is loading. So basically you're loading in, and then if it is, use this, and then it's basically telling it how many skeletons to actually make. But I'm gonna also refactor this into its own component. But they should all pretty much look the same since they're all very similar. Let's come back here. I refresh. Because it's on local, you probably won't see the skeleton. It reloads pretty fast. So what I like to do is flip the guards basically, so I can see what is happening. And do that one. So basically I'm gonna flip those conditions, so it should load immediately. Let me see. Cool, so let's save that. Yeah, so I come back here, you can see. Need to clean this up. I don't need it to look exactly like a card. Let's do this. Just need it to be a regular grayed out skeleton. And they're all the same, so it should really just be like a rectangular block. Let's try this. Refactor these skeleton into their own, into one component. They're all shape. Just use the one. Don't make them all solid. Mystic Raptor. So situation is like this. I only remember my family name, some other normal stuff. That's it. But somehow I know English language now. I knew like basics before accident. Damn. So hold on. So you're saying you only knew basic English and then you had an accident which obviously sounds like a traumatic brain injury. And now you know fluent English. Is that what you're saying? 'Cause that's kind of crazy. And where are you from? That game. Do I use Figma or Sigma tools? I've tried out Figma. I actually have it right now on my desktop. I tried it out. I think I need to learn the tool. The thing about all these like separate things is like I hate having to like relearn just how to use them. So I've been kind of putting it off, but it is one tool that I kind of want to kind of learn how to use because people sometimes ask like, "Hey, can you send me this in Figma or can you do that in Figma?" And I'm like, I don't really know how to do that. I know how to do web design pretty well actually, and I just find it so easy, especially when you're building by yourself, to do the development and the design just while you're doing it. And it's a pretty comfortable flow for me. But I do actually want to learn how to use Figma, not necessarily for myself, but for if I'm doing like work for other people, especially like if they need a prototype or I'm trying to sell them on an app or my vision on something, I can just like wire it up in Figma quickly and then show it to them. That's kind of what I want to do. But I want to learn it for sure. But I haven't taken the time out yet to learn it. Maybe after this. All right, so I told it to create one component and reuse that same thing since they're literally just rectangles. So it came here, created this skeleton dashboard, background, stone, light gray. So it should just be a simple rectangle. So it should be pretty easy. Let me check that again. So let's go to this dashboard loading. Let's come here and flip these guards so I can get a good look. Come back here and check. Cool. That works for me. I do need to clean these two up for whatever reason. But this is basically what a loading screen will basically see, or if an action is taking long or whatever for whatever reason, because sometimes in production that can happen. You don't want it to have that pop in for users. So like if you can initially show this and then once the loading is completed, it will get replaced with the actual elements of this. So let me fix that. Invitations and active tasks you need to clean up, but this is fine. Okay. Yeah, that is a common thing. Some people switch to another language like 100%. That's crazy. Just hit your head one day and all of a sudden you learn a new language. That's kind of crazy. Not a bad side effect. What kind of crazy? Did it affect your actual, home language? Like did it affect your creation and whatnot? Because that'd be crazy like if you just woke up and like you could speak a foreign language but you couldn't speak your mother tongue anymore. That'd be wild. I'm probably from the US. What are some projects for juniors in web development? Like, what do they need to know in USA API CRUD operations? So I am from the US, but I don't know. I couldn't tell you exactly what they are expecting from juniors in web development because I haven't worked in a company before. But in general, I would basically say, can you write code? Was the initial kind of requirement basically because as a junior, they're just gonna have you writing shitty code and doing things that they don't want you to do initially, which is going to be writing code and you're not going to be touching a lot of like heavier things until you kind of like until they trust you. But in general, yeah, you're going to learn like CRUD operations and stuff like that, and it also depends if you're like a web developer, like back end or front end. But in general, like I couldn't tell you the exact requirements for a junior developer, especially not these days. I don't know. I don't even know. Okay, let's fix that. These active tasks and these invitations, why aren't they? He said it didn't, but I couldn't speak anything for like 3 or 4 days. I mean, that's scary as fuck, bro. Like, so when you couldn't speak anything for 3 or 4 days, like, were you, you were all there, you knew what was happening, like you in your mind, you could speak, but you just couldn't like, you just couldn't get the words out. That's kind of crazy. I would also like to get a job in the U.S. I can use that dollar power right now. Shit, what dollar power? I mean, if people in the U.S. could wish they could use the real dollar power, I mean, our dollar is down right now. It is rough times everywhere. I couldn't. I mean, shit is expensive. Inflation is going crazy. Gas going crazy. So I mean, I don't know where y'all are at, but in the U.S., it ain't all sunshines over here. I can tell you that. Dollar definitely ain't going as far as it used to. I'll say that. A dollar is still a dollar. I mean, that's true. I mean, I guess, but that dollar does not go as far as it used to over here. Things are quite expensive right now. Mm. It's hard to explain. It was like trying to speak right after you get out of water. Like words have 20 kilograms of weight. I mean, that's scary as fuck. Like, especially 3 or 4 days. Like, damn, you might be going through your head, like, will I ever be able to talk again? Like, am I just in this state forever? That's kind of crazy. I mean, closest thing I could ever like imagine that being is like, when people get sleep paralysis, when you're like, you can't tell if you're awake or not. You like maybe your eyes are open, you're awake, but your body can't move, like it ain't responding. That shit is fucking terrifying. So if that is how that felt, like man, I feel sorry for you. That shit is crazy. But you can speak English now. Like you said, you could barely speak it before. Now you can really speak English. That's kind of crazy. All right, I think I had to refactor all my cards for whatever reason. Make sure that they're working. All right, that's good. That's good. All right, so I'll keep those changes. I'm going to tell it to do the same thing. Come here. Cool. All right, it's back working. So I need to tell it to basically, okay, apply the same changes and skeleton owners to the project's task workspaces and invitations. Let's go. All right, so it's basically going to reapply those same things to my project route, my task, and workspaces and invitations. Good news for me was that I was able to produce some sound on the first day, but with that language thing, you tell me would I like to know Spanish, forget everything about programming. I mean, that's a kind of crazy trade-off. Like, you know a new language, but like all your technical knowledge and skills gone. Yeah, nah. If I could gain that ability without losing that, oh yeah, go ahead, 1000% swing away. But like, yeah, learning your programming, that probably took you what years to kind of build up and just lose it like that. Yeah, nah, that's kind of crazy. All right, so here's the card. Here's my skeletons, and then let's just go ahead and check these out. Let's go here. It's good. Um, go check my workspaces. Cool. Task projects. All right, that's good. So I have skeletons for those. Lastly, I would put a skeleton for my avatar, and then basically gonna need skeletons for a lot of places, which I'll probably do offline, quite honestly. I'll need skeletons for these, skeletons for these, all these elements I'm gonna basically make skeletons for. But honestly, most of them I can just reuse the same ones. So like my notes and my task would be the same. Projects would be their own. Clients and members and invitations will be the same. Then in my projects, actual projects, I'm going to need to make timeline skeleton and these others, but I'll probably end up doing all that offline, get that all wired up. And next time I hop on here, I'm going to do my notifications. But I mean, that's pretty much it. So after I do that, do notifications, which honestly will probably take me about 2 days to fully get wired up and tested and make sure that things are working, because I'm going to need to set up some email workers and whatnot and test that out. But other than that, I'll do security testing on my own, and then I will have it up on my production site as my MVP. And then after that, maybe later on this week, I'll probably hop back on and show y'all how I do my SEO in terms of like building out my pages and landing pages and all that stuff that needs to happen, especially if we're going to be presenting this to the public and as a actual production worthy kind of thing. But that's it. We got, I mean, kind of a long way. Taking a lot of steps in the last couple days, so got things tightened up, but very close, very, very close. And Sakeem, see you around. Hey man, appreciate you for joining the stream again, and catch you next time. Go ahead and get that sleep. I'm sure it's late out there. And then Mystic Raptor, if I was second or even third year student, I wouldn't really mind. But on last year, yeah, that's kind of crazy. That is kind of crazy, man. And that's unfortunate. But hopefully, it starts to come back. I'm sure sometimes it takes time to whatever happens within people's brains and like kind of wire it up and whatnot. But hopefully it comes back. But appreciate you for joining the stream and chatting, and come back again, man. We'll touch base and see how the memories come along for sure. But other than that, man, appreciate y'all for joining the stream, and I'll be back another time pretty shortly. But peace out and